is, while all the branches except the Navy has some form of a campaign hat, the Army still has a separate hat for the female drill sergeant. It's called a bush hat. That part where the one character starts singing that, diddy bop. It's interesting that most cadences, that's actually where they come from, right? Popular tunes, R&B music. I mean, even nursery rhymes. Even my own voice has been tapped into a cadence. The Gatorade commercial singing the hard work cadence. So these guys, they're just, jumping on the bandwagon, throwing in the Diddy Bop in there at the same time. Yeah, that ain't happening. However, in the Army, in what we call the advanced individual training, which those periods of training go from 6 weeks to 6 months, even a year, drill and ceremony competitions are usually used to continue to motivate those individuals that have the longer periods of training, but not as likely in basic combat training, because we're focusing on shooting, moving, communicating, and treating yourself and others on the battlefield. I have to say a 4.
Locate a wounded soldier. Representative IW, you must then transport him to the emergency field hospital.
There's a lot going on there so far. When it started out, it definitely was something that you would see in recruit training. A lot of female leaders now are in positions of senior leadership. That's something that hadn't occurred over many years until the military had started really opening up the ranks of the infantry to our female leaders.
An aggressor team will be trying to stop you. They are all awaiting Ranger training and can't wait to capture you.
Based on what the information and the instructions they were given, is actually an advanced individual training, medical training. They're not going to be as complex with a mission that would go that deep, and that was evident when I saw them in the river there, because the risk for, perhaps somebody drowning or, something else with all that equipment on, and not too many people are going to want to put a recruit in that type of environment. Again, the risk factors wouldn't be something that you see in recruit training, but definitely something very similar, challenging-wise, as far as the military is concerned. Marines have a crucible, and the Army has this thing called the forge, very similar. In the final test of all of the training that they receive during the recruit training, it's in their medical lanes where they might have to treat a casualty or transport a casualty like you saw here. So really, all of the training has actually reached the point where they are confident that these individuals can leave and go to their next assignment. I have to give that a 5.
Okay, so we can do this event registration number for all of the dogs, and that's going to be the easiest way to get a number for them to compete and keep their points. However, if we want their Canadian Championship title reflected on the pedigrees of any progeny, we're going to have to actually register them with the Canadian Kennel Club before they earn any Canadian titles.
So we shouldn't do it then because we didn't register them?
No, we can do it, and this event registration number will allow them to keep their points and stuff. I'm just saying, if Spyro is the stud, if Spyro becomes a Canadian championship and we don't actually register him, we just keep the ERN, he'll be Canadian champion, but the pedigree of any of his babies that he sires will not show that he's a Canadian champion unless we actually register him. So this event registration number is the easiest way to go and participate right now, but we're gonna want to register him for real before he obtains an actual Canadian Championship title if we want it reflected on any APC.
So it's like, okay, if you're listening to yourself, your last statement, like again, we shouldn't go because you
no, I
said
never said we shouldn't go.
Well, I'm saying that because of what you're saying. Like, if why go when he gonna be a champion and none of that would reflect? You're saying if he attains the championship before, if we can't get his registration, then why are we going? Because that's what you just said. None of that. Like, if there's a chance that he'll champion. So the EVRN, what does it matter then? If you know what I'm saying? Or at least the way you're explaining it is, if you know, there's you can take him with this number, but if you don't register him before he champions, which he could champion and take 3 days out there, there's like 6 days, he could possibly, any one of our dogs could possibly champion with that EVRN, and you're saying it wouldn't count then?
It would count.
No, because they're not fully registered.
It would count. He would still be Canadian American champion then. It would still be in front of his name. It just wouldn't be listed on the pedigrees of any progeny.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we do it. It's for any future pups. So again, like, why do it if the main reason why you're doing it is not going to happen? Okay,
I'll just go with the actual registration then. We're going to have to send out letters to Pam, Annalie, and Melanie because they're all co-owners and we need their signatures on the paper.
Can't you do one now and then do the other while you're working on it? So you know we can still register the dogs. That's what I'm wondering why can't.
That's what I'm trying to explain is that I can get this event registration number so that they can participate still and we can go to the show and then we can get their Canadian Championship or their.
What happens if you don't have that registration? It happens after the champion. It doesn't count on for their puppies.
Okay, so I guess I just need to ask more questions then. It's fine, I'll figure it out.
Little girl's crying. Welcome to the internet, Karen. The new Karen. Welcome to the neighborhood, Karen. Look here, you don't need a name. You need to get away. You need to go somewhere. If you're you need to go somewhere, Karen. Out here making little girls cry for watering plants at a friend of ours' house, and you're the new Karen. You need to go somewhere, Karen. Welcome to the internet, Karen. Welcome to the internet. Making little girls cry for watering flowers.
Kevin is humiliating this 14-year-old skater in front of his friends. Not today, son. You want me to go over there? I'll get the police over here. Let's go drop the car. All right? You act like a big boy in front of these girls. You scared? Jump. He can throw it all he wants. I don't care. Go ahead, act like a clown in front of him. And I'll follow him over here, and let's go drop the property. Next grade. I hear you say what I heard you say before. I'll hurt you by your shirt and drag you. You want a pet? Well, do it in front of these guys too. He's gonna kill me. Excuse me? Swear to God.
I will get my name on it.
God.
I will get my name on it.
You're gay? What do y'all do? Steal my milk money? These guys don't get too shit about you.
Yeah.
They think you're a joke.
I think you're a joke.
This kid is streaming for a living. Stepdad Kevin, on the other hand, does drug for a living. He barges into the kid's bedroom and is ready to fight.
Are you? I'm asking you a question because I saw you job. I just saw you do it. Do you have a job? Yeah, the fuck I do. You don't. People are watching this. That's my job. I'm in front of a green screen. Hell yeah, I am. Do whatever the fuck I want in front of this green screen. Not my